What made you actually want to go on The Bachelor? Like, what was the...
Bro, I was just at the races. I was at the races off my guts. This lady comes up to me with the clipboard. She's like, "Would you consider television?" I was like, "Fuck off, get away from me." And then I was with Dylan Stav, and Dylan was like, "Just give you a number, just give you a number." And I gave it to her.
We're on.
What's Catman doing?
Catman Dawn, that's a new one.
What's Patsy Ewan?
All right, we are here with Tim Hanley,
Oh, yeah.
founder of Frontrunner.
Yep.
Good friend of mine. Some really good stories that we can tell from. I reckon we look back in the birth of Frontrunner, and we're going to get to that, but some of the conversations that we had previously.
Yeah.
In a gym in Bali.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Good to jump in quickly while I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You got me last minute, eh?
I did. I was thinking, and I was like, fuck. I was gonna obviously I wanted to catch up for lunch, but then I was like, fuck it, we'll get you on the potty. But man, I mean, for me, I've known you before Frontrunner,
Yeah.
and I see you now.
They're two different people, eh?
Well, I mean, that's the same as me, bro. Like, honestly, like, if you spoke to people that know me from back in the day, probably when I was like 21,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. And what we might do is we'll start, tell everyone a little bit about your journey,
Yeah.
and we'll use this as a bit of a time lapse, and we'll kind of go from, Tim growing up and from there, and then we'll take it through, and we'll start talking a little bit about Frontrunner.
Yeah, sweet. Well, you got me at a perfect time, mate, because like I've been asking myself so many questions lately, because I've been a bit confused with myself, like, because I thought I'm 29 now, and for the last probably like 5 years, I've been working myself out, and the Tim that I was last year is a fucking completely different Tim that I am right now, eh? And I thought I thought I knew exactly who I was, and like I knew myself inside and out, and now I've completely changed, and I feel like I fucking shed its skin, bro. And I'm just like, and now it's so exciting, because I lay in bed at night and I ask myself questions like, who am I now? Like, what am I doing now? And why am I feeling like this now? Because I have times where I'm just like, that's not me. Like, that's not me. But then I think about it and go, actually, that is you. You don't have to be that guy that you were yesterday. Like you don't have to be that guy that you thought you were. But yeah, I'll dive into that a little bit, because I don't know, I've always been like a social person, and like, mate, I was the king of the kids. I'm always out everywhere, and now I don't feel the need to go anywhere. Like after my boxing fight, I was just like, nah, I don't need to be at the after party. And it comes down to now, I just, the reason why is just I have something more important. Hey, this is all I want to do. I've got my missus, I'm fucking head over heels. It's everything, and my life's just like at a completely different stage.
It's an identity thing, man. Like, for me, like, I look back at, I had the exact same experience. Like, I could say the same thing, man. Like, I was fucking, not only was I a party animal, but I was the party animal of the group, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the guy, who had to be
Everyone
eyes
calls.
on, and that kind of thing. And it's like, for me, honestly, man, it took like trauma.
Yeah, it sort of is like that, isn't it?
You need a point where you go, fuck, like, I've got to stop this.
Yeah.
I've got to change. Otherwise, like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I went through that 100 times. But I kept bouncing back to it. But I used to love the self-sabotage. And now I'm at a stage, like, I'm at the peak of my game, and I don't even look to fucking self-sabotage now. Where I felt confused, I'm like, I'm doing too well, and I would be like, oh, how can I wreck this?
Just have a break.
How can I bring my bank account back down to zero so I can start again? Because I used to just love the chase, bro. I used to love being at rock bottom, and it's fucked up, but I used to love like being like rock bottom and having to start again.
That's what I mean. It's an identity thing, right? Like, because I think that's like, when you think you're a certain person,
Yeah.
you'll just carry out those behaviors,
Yep.
and you'll keep telling yourself a story of why that's okay that
Yeah.
you did that. You
Yeah,
know, like
because I'm erratic and because I'm like, cause that's just me. I'm ADD. I'm fucking. I should be doing that. Like I got an excuse to, like, to be everywhere, doing shit I don't really need to be doing because I'm ADD and I
you got to live life, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that whole.
and like, yeah, like telling myself like, oh, that's just who I am. I'm just an erratic person. I'm fucking. I make second decisions, which are shit decisions, and it's fine because I'm like that. And now I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have to be like that person. I don't have to make those erratic decisions. I don't have to make stupid decisions. And I don't have to be asking myself fucking why I did that. I can just not do it. And I don't.
And you don't need to say like that's one of the things that I think is hard about change, right? Like the people around you. You know,
Yeah,
you've
that's
got
the hardest
friends that I got friends that I would still say they're my best mates.
Yeah, same.
But man, I would see them once
Yeah.
every 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
3 months. Like, and it's like that's the hardest thing because when you first do that,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of judgment there.
Oh, mate,
know?
yeah, they're like, oh, sober, you think you're good because you're sober. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, bro, just give me a spell.
Yeah.
But then, like you just look for conversations that are hitting different, when your mind is, like, I couldn't stand being around, like, I finished my fight, last night, and I left straight away. I didn't even stay to watch Kieran and the other boys because I was getting so much anxiety about people going, where are we going? What are we doing? What
Yeah.
drugs are we taking? What things? I get home and I'm just like, fuck. I can't even be around it because it's just like not the conversation. They're not conversations they're going nowhere for me.
And you don't like it's just a waste of time, man. Like
Yeah.
sitting around there and just like
And-
doing it for the fact that you feel like you need to do it to satisfy people.
Yeah.
Like I went to the SB about 6 weeks ago, brother, and like maybe if it was with my best mates, I could sit there and
Yeah.
but it wasn't, and it was just it was like
With-
a friend's partner's birthday, man, and I was just
Yeah.
sitting there and I was like, fuck, man. I was going to the toilet every 40 minutes just to sit on my phone because I didn't want to be there, and in the end I was like, fuck this, like I'm just out of here. I lasted like 2 hours, bro, 2.5 hours.
That's a different trip to the toilet, Ledge.
But it's like, it's fucking true, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
I know what you mean.
you feel like sometimes that you have to do things to satisfy those around you, and it's just not fucking.
I'll show you this.
It's
I
not.
always write myself letters, to try and comprehend shit. And I was at the weigh-in the other night, and I got anxiety because I haven't been in a big crowd. I didn't go out after COVID, like when COVID finished. I wasn't like bang, I'm straight out doing it. I hadn't been in a big crowd of drinkers and like the crew that I'd been in forever. And they were at the weigh-in, and I had like anxiety, and I was like, fuck, I never get anxiety, bro. And I always think, if I have anxiety, what's it coming down to, and how can I work it out? Because it's not anxiety. I'm not anxiety. It's just an emotion that's happening.
Yeah.
And I always write shit to myself, and I wrote to myself when I got home. Anxiety at the weigh-in. Knew it had nothing to do with the fight. I haven't been in a crowd and an atmosphere like that for nearly a year. People that I know, with people that I know, anxiety because the old me would have thrived in situations like that and would have thrived at a night like tonight, which other than the fights will be a massive party. A place where old me would absolutely dominate, where the conversations would be about what clubs we're going to, who's going to be there, and what drugs we'll be taking, and who's having the after party, what's plans for the Sunday to do it all again. And there's the answer to my anxiety. I'm in a crowd that knows the old me, expects the old me to turn up, but he's not there, and he's that far gone that I can't even dig him up for a night to put on a front that he is. It's not anxiety, it's just change. I always write little shit like that to myself to try and explain it, and I just that's exactly what it was. Especially coming back down here. That's why I sort of like being in Terry. I don't have to explain myself to anyone.
You're alone.
I don't have to explain this me to anyone. I don't have to just go, oh no, I don't want to do that, and sound like a stiff and feel like I'm letting people down because I'm not doing the shit that people want me to do.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, man. Like, and sometimes it's even with family with me, man. Like,
Yeah.
because my family's like that. Like at times, it's like, and I'm talking like my greater family. It's like, it's just like it's always alcohol. It's always like, and there's just so much going on, man. I'm just like, that's not me anymore. Like, I don't want to fucking be around this all the time. I don't want to do that. And I love them to death. Like, they're the fucking best. But it's like, there's a reason that I like to isolate and just do my thing because it's like, that's me at my clearest. That's me when I feel my best. and I don't want to. I'm not going to sacrifice that just to make other people happy anymore. Like
Yeah.
there's certain people that I will, but then it's like I'm going to do it when I want to do it, and because I know that if I put myself in that environment too much,
Yeah.
I'm going to feel anxious. I'm going to start fucking. It's not what I want to do.
And I got some new mates in my life that like Tom, who's got a business and like, it's all about the same sort of shit. They're chasing it, and I've only known them for like a year, since this year, and I would honestly call them my best mates now in my life, because they're just people I love hanging around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with
Yeah.
like that's the thing, man. Is like I put up something on Insta the other day, like a little fucking Twitter thing,
Yeah.
you know. But it's like at the end of the day, like if you want to achieve something,
Yeah.
it's all about the conversations you have in the environment you're in.
100%.
Like I want to be the dumbest guy in the room, you know. Like
Yeah.
I fucking make sure that
You are. No.
my friends and the people that I spend most of my time around are business owners. They're people that are, like you said, chasing it.
Yeah.
But even like some of the people that I can just have conversations with, like there's a guy named Brendan Iambadejo from America that I've caught up with him when I went over there, and you know we still talk probably weekly to this day, man. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, bro, he's like he owns all of Orange Theory Fitness Bay Area and LA.
Yeah.
And sold it, and like you know he's played in the NFL, won a fucking Super Bowl ring with the
Yeah.
Ravens, like. And even like another guy, Toby Scov, who owns Creative Cubes, like
Yeah.
you know, like just guys like that. It's like fuck, man. Like the
Hear
conversation.
what they're doing.
Yeah, like, I just want to
I
know.
want to know where you failed.
Yeah, I want to.
know,
I want to know what. I want to see where you've gone, and I want to see how you've done it, and I want to understand it,
Yeah.
and the conversations that you have and the way you think.
Yeah. Hard.
And I think that's so important, man. Like, because you're right. Like at the end of the day, man, you are who you spend your time with.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day, I was spending fucking 90% of my time at the footy club.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, 90% of my time is spent around drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
fucking just boys being boys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like that was my identity at the time, and that's who I was, and that's all I did.
Yeah.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
I was playing fucking senior footy, and you were probably the same from the
Yeah.
age of 16.
Yeah.
It's like the guys I used to look up to were the guys who were kicking 8
Yeah.
snags
Yeah.
at, you know, full forward, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, it's just different.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%.
All right, so let's take it back now.
Yeah.
Further, right? So I want to kind of, I don't think we've spoken about this, and that's
Yeah.
fucking weird, but what made you actually want to go on The Bachelor? Like, what was the...
Bro, I was just at the races. I was at the races off my guts. This lady comes up to me with the clipboard. She's like, "Would you consider television?" I was like, "Fuck off, get away from me." And then I was with Dylan Stav, and Dylan was like, "Just give you a number, just give you a number." And I gave it to her, and I got a call like a few months later, and so it was them to ask me to go on like some shit show like from America that was coming over here, and it was going to be the first season. I was like, I'm not being a guinea pig on some shit show. I don't know about. And then they called me for the Bachelorette. They're like, "Oh, we really like you. We really like you." Did one interview and bang, I was in. And then I was just like, "Fuck, man, I got nothing else going for me. Hey, what do I got to lose? I'm just working on the tools. I'll say yes to everything, something like that." And I just think I'm a big believer in the universe, and I just think for her to be standing next to me in a crowd of 100,000 people, and her to go, "Hey, you want to go on TV?" That doesn't happen for no reason. I know it doesn't happen for no reason. Shit happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, went from there.
And then, so obviously, going on the show, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is there anything you learnt from that about yourself, or is it
Oh,
more just
mate, fucking oath. On there, you have no TV, no phone. No, I was in there 12 weeks, no phone, man. You know how addicted everyone is to their phone. I had no
100%.
phone for 12 weeks. I read my first book in the Bachelorette that I've ever read in my life. 27 years old, 28 years old. Read my first book because I had the time to sit down. Mate, I thought the same story I was telling myself. I'm erratic, ADD, can't sit down, can't do this. Had to do it. Had to sit down. Had to fucking be in bed early. And had lots of conversations with the boys in there.
because you're still mates with a lot of them now?
I'm
aren't
still
you?
mate. I didn't have conversations with like all of them, but I'd have like my three mates in there, and a lot of time to yourself, just thinking. It was good.
silence is
Si-
it's a beautiful thing, right? I
Yeah.
think, as I said, like environment.
Yeah.
It's like you just change your environment, and I mean, this is totally different. Like you're probably just thinking, "Fuck,
But
I'll give it a whirl."
but it was fucking hard work, man. Like it's mentally so hard. There's all these alphas around, and like,
Yeah, what was that like,
yeah,
bro?
there's all these alphas around, and you're sort of like. But I knew I just had it over everyone from from the get go. Walking into the change rooms when you first get there, you see everyone sussing each other out, getting changed, getting ready and that. And I was just like, I fucking have it over everyone here because I've done this shit before. I went to 4 different high schools, played about 20 different footy clubs. I've been a new guy. I moved cities by myself, not knowing anyone. That's my thriving situation at that time in my life. I'll fucking walk into any crowd and light it up. And I just knew that. I knew how to work a crowd, knew how to become mates with everyone in some sort of way, but I knew that no one knew that. They all thought I was mad as a cut snake, eh? I was walking around just G'ing everyone up from the start, eh? They're like, who the fuck is this guy? He's going home first night. And I just...
Because a part of it, you got to play the game, right?
Yeah, you got to play the game hard. You got to, because you're in there with all the boys, so you got to...
Was it like, so, I mean, there would have been two sides, right? There would have been like...
Yeah, there's the boys and there's the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
And
completely different.
the banter?
Completely different for the two of them. And none of the boys knew that I was going on these dates and just lighting it up. They all just thought I was crazy. And I'd come back, I'd be like, that was the shittest date, man. That was the
Oh,
shittest
you're
date."
kidding.
And I'd go there and just be a completely different person with her. Because I'd be the mad party crowd. But I'm good conversation as well. And I can talk emotions and I'm really in touch with myself, so that's easy to talk to a girl and on a love show and talk fuck, but which a lot of people can't do. They don't know themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I did well. I know I said before I'm still learning about the new self, but
Everybody is.
but I can tell you all my flaws and fucking I know where I'm shit, and I was real open about that kind of stuff, which is always going to gain points in that when you're honest. But then I'd go back to the boys and be like, fuck, I don't know what's going on here. Just act real dumb and that and just be like, fuck, yeah, I don't know.
Such a fucking different environment.
But then all these boys all trying to win her and that and like trying to, because she would go off about anyone trying to start fights and we're all here just to find love and blah, blah, blah. And she would go crazy at everyone if they're starting talking shit and like blah, blah, blah. And I'd go in there, there'd be massive blue in the house. And then she'd come in and pull everyone in and go off at everyone and be like, why are you all children, blah, blah, blah. And I'd talk to her and I'd be like, oh, I started that fight, sorry. and she would just laugh, eh? But if it's someone else, she'd probably send them home. And I was just taking a piss, eh?
Oh,
But
all right, so fast forward, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, and then
Bachelor,
you had Bachelor in Paradise, and I think I seen you directly after that.
yeah. So I went Bachelorette. Came off Bachelorette. And no. Went to Bachelorette. Bachelorette aired. And I was doing nothing between Bachelorette and Bachelorette airing, and then and halfway through Bachelorette airing, I went to Fiji to film. So I didn't even hadn't dove into any of the fucking people knowing me or anything like that. I was still in Fiji. I was watching my finale on a laptop in Fiji.
Oh, really?
Yeah, filming another show, and then.
And did they come up? Like, when did you find out you were going on Bachelor in Paradise?
Oh, I knew I was going on Paradise, like, from I don't know.
During the other show or just after?
No, not during the other show. Only a few weeks later, they called me,
Yeah.
and I just hung up on them and was like, "Don't you call me about this? How dare you call me? You've seen my heart broken." Just waiting for the money. Just waiting for the dollars to go up, eh? I just kept saying, how dare you call me? Don't you call me back. Ring me back when you got more money. Like that.
Well, you got to play
I
the
knew,
game.
bro. I knew I had a. I knew I
It's
was a big.
fucking. You know what, man? Like,
The other boys is fucking dumb. They're ringing the producers, going, "Can I go on it? Can I go on?" I'm like, "He's fucking stupid, mate. Play the you are worth something now. If you went to top 4,
and it's like it's not like I think this is the thing as well. It's not easy, man. Like I reckon that'd be one of the hardest things to do. Like you go on TV, you're now under so much scrutiny.
yeah, you
Like
put your
every
life on the
move.
line. You put your life on the line. And I didn't come off like the best from that. I didn't give a fuck, but there was a bit of twisting and turning from the producers and shit on that show, but it still didn't bother me. It didn't rock me when I got out. But that's what you do. You look at Kieran. Kieran got fucked by the producers. Like if I could go into that and say about all the manipulation and shit that he got stitched with, that could have been me, eh? Because they go in there and they go, "Oh, she's just too young. You're just single, young. Just go and play the field, kiss all the girls," and then Kieran will stay with the girl, and the producers will be like, "You don't actually like her. You can go to a different one." Then he'll do it, and then you see the edit, and it's just Kieran
You're
getting
kidding, man.
absolutely fucking folded by the producers, and they were doing it to me too. They're like, "Oh, you don't like her, go to a different girl." I was like, "Motherfucker, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
It's a trap, man. It's a fucking.
But that's why you've got to ask for the money, man. Because it's like you come out and like people are fucking crazy. Like social media is fucked.
Yeah.
Like I look at like
Oh, mate, I was getting once the feminists get onto you, you're fucked. Let me tell you, that's one group of people you don't want to fuck with. The feminists, they will rip your heart out.
Yeah.
And they all got Instagram. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I remember, man. Like, cause I mean, I don't.
You say one wrong thing, man, your whole box is full. You fucking pig.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I think like
I had to do an apology. Sorry, mate, keep going.
No, I do remember. I remember because I'm gonna be honest. I never fucking watch it, but my partner was watching it and she was like, "Fuck!" Like she's going on about it, and I'm like, "Man, I don't go live. Like, fucking look through the surface." Like I go, "There's so like the reality is like you've seen how much fucking shit that these producers and stuff. How like there's always a story that comes out afterwards of like what the truth was."
So my thing was my one where I had to apologise with that was the one where I had to apologise was we had this dinner party and I was just giving it to Kieran's ex-missus who came on. I was just cheering her up, but because no one was saying anything at the dinner party, producers pull me aside and go, "Stir it up,
Razz it up.
razz it
You're
up."
kidding.
And they're in the corner. I'm looking at them, and they're just going like this to me. The producers are doing this one here,
Stir
stir
the
the pot. And so I'm just firing this shit at Renee, and not knowing that, having full trust in production that on the last show when I stirred the pot and
they
understood that there was no malice behind it, so they didn't put it in a manipulating way, like with bad music behind it and like cut in my scenes where my face looks fucking like I'm gonna get ya. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, so I had full faith in them. Like they're like, "Stir the pot," so I was like, "Fuck yeah, stir it up." And then like it looked fully bad, and that's when I went to leave on Paradise. I was like, "I'm not getting fucking manipulated," but I said, "That's not me." Like, I didn't want her to actually feel bad. So
You're not a malice person.
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't want her to actually feel bad. And that's when I said to production, "I'm leaving because you guys are bullying." And we had to sign a bullying clause before we went in there that they can like terminate our contracts or whatever if they deem us to be bullying. And then they had a definition of bullying that like
so pretty much saying
if I say something that I know affects you and you press on it, whether you think it's right or I think it's right, if I can see it's affecting you and I press on it, then that's bullying, and then they can fuck us up for it. And then Kieran cheated on Renee ages ago, and they kept putting these questions in the box and making Kieran talk about this, how he cheated, like 20 times, bro. Every day they would be like, "Let's talk about Kieran, how he's a cheater." And I was like, "Didn't you make us sign a fucking form where you can see something, as soon as you see someone's uncomfortable about something and you press on it, it's bullying?" I said, "How is this not fucking bullying?" It was big dramas though.
That's what I mean. Like you got to, and I think that's probably a smart thing by you. Is like fucking pay me, right? Like
Yeah.
because that's the thing. It's like you probably got the good end of the stick
Yeah, I
on the
did.
previous show, and then this
Yeah.
one they're like fucking, but that can happen.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they don't know what they're gonna do. They probably just go this week. Yeah, let's we need a bit of juice.
Yeah, they
Let's
need a
razz
bit
it
of
up.
juice, yeah.
All right, so fast forward again, and I think this is where I seen you in Bali, and we
Bali,
were
yeah.
training, and it's interesting. We were kind of laughing about it before, and I was like, man, you got to start a business.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see like what the change was, right? Like afterwards, because I think that's when I started to really notice you
Yeah.
kind of fucking head down.
So when I was in Bali, I flew out of Bali into Darwin to a nightclub gig, into fucking the Gold Coast. I was doing nightclubs every second weekend, just partying, like getting off my head. I was getting paid grouse money for Instagram, grouse money for this, grouse money for that. And there was probably a couple months there after Bachelorette had aired, all my Instagram started going down, and like I could see it slowly like going declining, and I was like, "Fuck, this isn't just." And like I wasn't getting the nightclub gigs. I'd done all the nightclubs and blown all my money. And I was like, this isn't sustainable. I'm going to be fucking another flash in the pan here. And I was like, I've got this other show that's going to air. I've just filmed it. I've got this other show that's going to air in like probably like 4 or 5 months. And 5 months. And it's going to give me another 3 months after that. And then you're done. That's all you get. And then you're going to fucking drop off the planet when the next TV show comes. And that's when I was like, if you're going to do anything, you need something to keep it going if you're going to leverage off it. And so I just sat down and had a think. I was I was doing booty bands with Spinksy. That's what we were going to do. And
yeah, I remember that.
Because you said, start a business, and we were looking into business like I start. And lockdown was happening, and I was like, fucking, that's what we got to do. We'll do the booty bands because like it'll work, and I'll have the platform to be able to do it. Everyone's in lockdown. Should be sweet. And then as I was studying into booty band, I was like, we might as well do a t-shirt too. And then I just found this fucking love for designing the clothes. I started loving it. And I said to my mate, I said, look bro, you can do the bands by yourself. I was getting the samples and touching them. I was like, these are shit, these are good. I was just
Because you're creative like that.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing, like, you're very creative like that, and that's like, you got to have it for what you're doing, and I think that's why your clothing and your branding's so good. But I'm interested, why Frontrunner? Like, what does that mean?
I was actually running heaps at the time. I always set myself little goals and challenges and stuff, and I was doing a running challenge where I had to run every day, and running for me is meditation. Like I call it meditation on the move, and I just had lots of time to think, and Frontrunner just came up. I was like, fuck, that's such a powerful name. There's so many different, you can use it for so many, it's not just running. Frontrunner is so like broad, so...
Yeah. I mean, originally I thought because a lot of the branding initially you were kind of looking at like what it means to be a front runner, and what are these different meanings, and it's like, the gauge I got from it was like, it's more about, and I mean, this is what I'm more interested in with yourself, is like having that name. What has that done for you on an individual level?
Mate, I knew, because I was talking about Pip Edwards before. I listened to a Pip Edwards podcast, and so many different business people's podcasts, and it's like, you have to be a walking, talking version of your brand if you want to fucking sell shit. And I can't be having a brand called Frontrunner going around being a fucking drug addict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to be a front runner in every single aspect of my life. If people are going to take me seriously, I have to set the tone for what a front runner is. And I did, and I knew that I'd be letting myself down. People wouldn't be, if I wanted to do it properly. I've done everything so seriously since I started it. It just gave me a lifeline, hey.
It's changed your life, man.
It has, 100%. And the meaning I had behind it was like that I'm a front runner, life's a race, and you're only racing yourself. You're not racing against anyone else. You're just trying to be your best every single day. Yeah, it's gross.
I mean, and I think that's, I really love that, because at the end of the day, man, it has changed your life. And I think the reason we do this podcast, right, is because we're trying to create conversations that will change someone's mind,
Yeah.
right, that will actually impact people. And I think it's good to see, I mean, I've been through it, man. Like, my life is completely different. Like,
Yeah.
fucking, I don't know. I still can't believe I fucking got this thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's wild to think of
Yeah.
where I was fucking 4 years ago, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
to now. But I think most importantly, it's like anybody can do it,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, you got to just, I mean, initially it's like, I think you do have to go through some type of trauma, and trauma to everyone is different. But more importantly, like, you can change at any one point in time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to wait. You don't have to, and it really is just like you said. Like, I'd love to see what's in your notes, man, because you said that letter you wrote to yourself. But that is a form of like just understanding yourself and asking yourself certain questions.
Mate, I fucking sit there all night, ask myself questions. I have so many conversations with myself, write them down, write letters to myself. I've wrote letters to myself since I was bloody 18, Whenever I'm off the rails, I always write letters to myself. And I write them to myself in a sense that as if I was talking to my best mate. And so I'd say, "Dear Tim," and be like, give myself the advice that I would give you, because I knew I could give good advice to people. And I would say, like, fucking shit's not right at the moment, like, you're being a fuckhead. Like, if I was talking real honestly to my best mate who needed a fucking good stern talking to, I'd be like, "Mate, you are being a shit cunt." I can't so much swear.
No, you're right.
Like,
You're right.
you are being shit ass at the moment. You're being a poor version of yourself. But you know the best thing, like, you know what you're doing wrong. You know yourself, what you're doing wrong. You know what you can do to change it. What steps can we do to change our habits right now? And let's go back to basics. And whenever like shit would fall apart for me, I'd always like have this like list, and I would get excited because I knew, all right, fuck, we're going back to the list. Shit's not right, we're going back to the list. And I would not look at any of the things that I was doing in my life. Wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're partying too much." I'll put it down to how are you eating, how are you sleeping, how's your exercise, and sleeping, eating,
Education?
exercise. That's pretty much like the main few ones.
Feel
And
good,
then
man.
I ask myself, "Oh, what's your training been like this week?" And it'd be like, the answer would be like, "Oh, you haven't been training hard at all. You got no goals." That's another thing. I had to have goals. You got no goals. You're not training well. Is my place clean? And the answer would be no to all of them. And they're such small things that like I would know as soon as I get my eating right, I'll start feeling better. As soon as my house is clean, I start feeling better. My car's clean, I start feeling better. And as soon as I start training, I'll start feeling better. And as soon as I start sleeping better, I'll start feeling better. And then start right there. Don't look at anything else. Just get those fucking basics right first. And then I know shit flows on from those four like fundamentals of my life. And then I can ask myself the big questions. Isn't like I'll start so small, like, is my bed made in the morning? I think if I can't get those tiny things right, if I'm not doing those things that I know are the best for me, then don't even bother trying to stop taking drugs or stop drinking. If you can't even do those small things, how are you going to make these massive changes in my life? So I'd strip it back to the tiniest little things and start getting the little things right, because I knew then I can reevaluate, ask the questions then. But if shit's not right, get the small things right first.
Yeah, it's old, like, the way you do something is the way you do everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so true. If you're always rushing around, if you're always like if you're not doing those basic things right, then you're not going to get the things that you need to get right for the goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think like that's something that you can often get into this mindset where you're like, yeah, like it doesn't matter, like they're the small things, I'm working on something bigger, but then it's usually those things that you sweep under the rug that come back to bite you on the arse.
Yeah.
Where's Frontrunner going then, right? Like, what's your vision for it?
I reckon we're going to be the biggest biggest unisex brand in the world. That's my plan anyway. I feel like there's a gap. There's no one fucking dominating unisex.
What does that mean? Like, so for the listeners at home, like when you say, I mean, unisex obviously,
Unisex is for everyone. Everyone can wear it anyway.
because there's a certain style that has to come with that, right? And I think it's like, because this is probably talking more to your creative mind, but
Yeah.
you know, there's a certain style that if you're designing clothes that has to fit both
Yeah.
male and female,
Yeah.
right? Like, what style is that? And what's like, because you said there's a gap. Like, what aren't people getting about it?
I just don't think people are. Yeah, I just don't think there's a brand where you see both girls and boys wearing. There's boys brands and there's girls brands. There's no in between. And I think you know what? I think it's just from a design perspective, it's we're going into oversized.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like the reason I did this, I felt like every time my girlfriend just wears my clothes way too much.
Mate, preaching to
My
the choir.
girlfriend just wears my clothes way too much, and at the start she's like, oh, we should do these crop things, do these crop jumpers. Let's do the crop. That'll go with this. And then I watch her for a few days, and she has crop jumpers in her thing, but she
Doesn't
still
wear 'em.
picks mine. And I said, and everywhere we go, every time she puts it on, I say, "Look, see, you're wearing my one. You're wearing my one. You're wearing my one." So, yeah.
It's a psychological thing as well, right? I think and this is like something that we actually teach in some of our courses, but it's like when you're trying to define a niche, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not trying to define a niche between male and female or demographics. It's
No.
more so about customer psychology,
Yeah.
right? And if you focus on psychology, you don't narrow yourself down to a certain demographic or anything like that, but you're actually getting more of an understanding of the psychology of the customer.
Yeah.
And like that's probably from a branding perspective, Frontrunner, right?
Yeah.
It's a psychology. Like it's like Nike, right? It's like you wear Nike because you believe in the athlete's mindset.
Yeah.
Like I'll if I see Nike versus Adidas, most of the time I'll probably buy Nike.
I will now after reading Phil Knight's book.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? It's a psychological thing, and I think that's probably. I mean, Frontrunner itself has a psychology behind it, but the design as well. Like it's like because unisex, like again, males and females wear Nike, and it's the same thing. It's like if you focus on the psychology, for yourself, you've done that, and I think it allows you to, instead of focusing on what's going to fit women, what's going to fit men, it's more about like, first of all, we look at the brand, we look at what we stand for, what we're trying to do, the style we're trying to go for, and then we design something that both males and females can wear.
Yeah, 100%.
What about business-wise? Like, what are some of the biggest lessons to date that you've learned from a business perspective?
Oh, I'm so lucky, man, because I didn't know anything about business when I started. So I'm lucky. I bought my best mate Jai in, gave him 20% of the business for nothing, knowing that in 5 years' time, if I buy that 20% off him for fucking few $100,000, I'll have got my money's worth. Because I wouldn't have been able to. I don't know anything about business. If you don't know something, you don't know something.
It's such a, man, like I think that's one of the biggest things in business is everybody, like they get really scared to make these moves because of that, right? It's like, I don't know enough. I don't know what I'm doing. And that causes me anxiety. That causes me fear. Therefore, I'm not going to actually do anything.
Yeah. You know what, having Jai, running the business side of it, mate, I can go free reign on everything
That you're good at.
that I'm good at and that I love doing, and it's having the back of my mind, the ship will never sink because he's really steering the ship in that financial sense. And I just know that every decision now that we make, before we made our first, probably I don't know, 80 grand or whatever, had 80 grand sitting in the bank, and I was just spending the day. I was just like, fuck, yeah, this is mad. And then we ran out of money, I was like, fuck, where'd all the money go? So I rang Joy, I was like, bro, I probably think I need you to give me a hand. I had no idea about cash flow, put all these orders in, didn't know that I'd started all these orders for these different garments and stuff, and there's like a gap between when we're going to sell it and when we needed to pay it, and I was just like, fuck yeah, I didn't know about cash flow at all. And then, but yeah, we got it all sorted.
I think as a founder, like it's, I mean, again, like I think everybody feels like they need to do it themselves. And I actually like the idea of bringing somebody in.
You know how many people said to me, "Don't bring anyone in, man. It'll just make it fucking hard. It'll just make it thing." But you know what? John's my best mate. I was his best man at his wedding last year, and I love calling him. Me and him do it together. It's like, and he doesn't want any. He doesn't want to like. He doesn't even. He wouldn't care if no one knew about him. That's the best part. You know what I mean? He's not
Yeah.
there for the. He's not there to be like, to be the owner of Frontrunner. He doesn't want to be that. He doesn't need everyone to know. Oh yeah, I'm one of the owners of Frontrunner.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It just allows you to be in the position you want to be in.
Yeah,
right? Like
and
you can,
and he's so like, he's such an open thinker too. He asks the big questions. He never says to me no. Like if I say to him, "Oh, I want to sponsor this guy for $1,000,000," he wouldn't ask why. He just
Trust you.
Yeah, he trusts me. He's like, "Yeah, fucking oath, let's do that. Let's do it. We can afford that. Let's do it." You know?
Yeah. So important.
So important.
I think and especially going into business with someone, like you have to be able to trust them like that.
Yeah.
What I was saying before, right? It's like you being in the position that best suits you in the business instead of trying to be something over here, like trying to manage the cash flow and trying to do
Yeah.
that. I think sometimes that can, there's going to be times where you're not good at something.
Right.
Like I know in my business, I'm a very good strategic thinker.
Yeah.
I can think about the strategy and I
Yeah.
can think about the product and I can go, okay, psychologically this is what we're doing. But then when it comes to execution, like I'm not bad at it, but fuck man, there's people in my business that are much better.
Yeah,
You know, like
right.
Reese is he's the master of execution.
Yeah.
Right, like he's like the fucking one of my partners, and
Yeah.
he's the master of it, man. Like he can understand. Okay, this is what we're trying to do. This is how it needs to go. Boom, 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 boom. And I
Yeah,
think
right.
it's so important to be able to identify, and it's an ego thing, right? It's like your ability to actually put yourself in a position that you're good instead of trying to just run the show.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that can be the thing that absolutely tears you down.
Mate, the best, I'm telling you, I would not have been able to do this without my Mrs. Bree.
Yeah.
That was another big thing about a big stage of my life that allowed me to come into this was being, and I didn't need to, I knew if I'm going to get back with her and be with her, she's going to be half of me. She's going to get half of the business. She's going to get half of everything, no matter what happens. And she was working her job, and I was starting Frontrunner, and I sat down with her and I told her the grand plan. I said I want this to be ours.
Mm.
And bro, she complements everything that I don't know. She knows how to do, and she's so good at the back end sort of stuff, and the shit that I'm not terrible at, and wouldn't have the time or the patience to be able to do. She does it, but she couldn't make a big decision if she'd like to save her life.
Yeah.
Like she'd be like, "Fuck, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
But I can make big decisions. Like bang, straight up. And not question myself at all.
And I mean, again, it just talks to like from the outside looking in. Now that what you've mentioned, it's like a business is just something that needs to gel.
Yeah.
You just need to have the right parts fitting in and get the right team.
Yeah,
and
we're starting to build
everybody
teams
playing
out
their
now.
role.
Yeah,
You know?
we're starting to build teams out now. That's exactly what we're doing. We're looking at. We just had a 90-day plan with George. I came up to us and we had a 90-day plan. Looked at what the next 12 months is going to look like from a cash perspective and from a business perspective, and just the numbers. Just, we keep selling out, and we're just like, how are we gonna scale up, and how are we going to be able to take on the load if we're going to scale up so much? And so we're starting to build out teams now, so that we're going to be able to fulfill the production when it comes to it. So we're not going to be like, all right, we're doing we're doing a certain amount of money this month, a certain amount of money that month, and then it fucking quadruples in the next month, and we won't be able to take the load. Do you know what I mean? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I realized in business, it's all timelines and trigger points, right?
Yeah.
So like you talked about that 90-day plan, but within that 90 days, there's going to be certain trigger points that tell you or that you achieve that preset where you're like, okay, now we can go to that next level.
Yeah.
Right. Or, and the timelines as well. So like, when can we do this? When do we need, like, we need to build infrastructure,
Yeah.
which is our teams, and that allow us to scale.
Yeah.
And those teams cost money. So
Yeah.
then therefore we have to have a certain amount of money to get that
we
team.
looked at, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's all trigger points and timelines. And that's like one of the hardest things to do, because in business, it's very easy to get caught up in just next week, next month. But instead, now what you got to do is you got to look ahead 90 days.
That's why it's
6
so
months.
good to have Jai. I wouldn't know any of that shit. And he's like, all right, well, this next month, we'll be able to put on a full-time this person, be able to put on full-time designer, put on this. Eventually, the plan is to have a business that runs itself.
Autonomous, passive income.
Yeah, a business that runs itself, where me and Bree are just sitting there, and we have designers, we have fucking people doing content, we have people picking and packing, we have, all I'm doing is just flying around the world, just looking for designs, sending them out to our designer, and just going, let's do this, send it to me when it's done. You speak to the supplier.
Yeah. All right, so to wrap this up then, congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
It's epic to see it all happening for you, and I fucking wish you the best of luck with everything in the future. But I think you're also an inspiration for people out there, and honestly, you're probably going to fucking sit there and go, fuck, nah. But I think you are, and I think it's important for people out there to realize that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you can make something of yourself, and you've got an opportunity right now to make that change. So what's your advice to someone who maybe has an idea, or maybe doesn't have the confidence in themselves, or doesn't think that they can make something of themselves? What's your advice to them?
My biggest advice ever, I actually think about this question a lot. What can I give to people? From what I've done, what can I give to people? My biggest advice is to try everything, because I wouldn't have stumbled across my passion in clothes unless I'd fucking said yes to every single thing. Like I have done. I wrote down the other day how many jobs that I've worked, because I never went to uni, never did a trade, but said yes to everything, bro. I've fucking done door-to-door sales. I've worked in call centers. I've worked on a prawn farm. I've fucking worked in Chinese restaurant. Bro, just everything from that it's this end to this end, and learn off every single person. You'll fucking finally get there. You'll find it. Just keep going. Keep saying yes. Don't be scared. And if you hate doing something, don't fucking do it. Just change. It's not that hard. People go, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to quit my job, because just quit it and you'll find another one. That's people will say, oh, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It fucking is that easy. I'm telling you.
You just got to fucking...
you just got to want it.
Yeah.
You just got to want it. And learn people.
What?
Learn people. Learn how to deal with different people. And that's how you do that in different situations.
Yeah, that's so true.
With different, every single job that I've had in those different fields all have a completely different type of people in them.
Yeah.
The more people you can interact with, the more you can learn.
You understand.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers,
I appreciate it.
Thanks heaps.
Frontrunner, so first of all, where can they find Frontrunner?
Frontrunner AU on
Instagram?
On the gram. It's pretty much what we're doing at the moment. Frontrunner AU on Facebook. Facebook's not cranking. We need to get it going.
Website. Any drops? The new kit. So,
mate, we got that much coming.
That on the camera, what Timmy's wearing is coming. It looks fucking fly.
Yeah, we got heaps. We got heaps coming. We probably had so we would get probably 500-600 units at a time. Usually, 600 units would come to in my house, and then now we've got about 5,000 coming.
Really? Shit.
On our next boat.
Crazy.
So.
But check it out.
There's a lot going on.
All right. Thanks for coming on, brother. Really appreciate it.